Michael, given that you're a homegrown Singapore company, this is your home base, your home ground. What is Atlas doing to ensure that it is sustainable in terms of growth and profitability in one of the toughest retail markets like Singapore? What are you doing to ensure Atlas continues success and growth in this very crowded, saturated, competitive market like Singapore?
It is crowded, it's saturated, it's home. And because it's home, this is where we're at. We must always look for new ways to grow our business. I know that a lot of people tend to see Singapore as a zero-sum game, but I believe that there are many pockets of opportunities, and if you know your business, and if you know what you do and what you're passionate about, you're then able to look beyond just what everybody is seeing and look at complementary services that can help you expand. For example, one of our mindsets in the past was always retail. Prior to 2005, 90% of our sales come from retail. But today, the retail business is about 60% of what we do. Our project business is about 25. Malaysia brings us about 10. And what is growing is our distribution business. Today, we have more than 12 partners, and there's over 50 touch points for the Bose personal audio, which means the headphones, the sound dock, as well as computer speakers. In the same way, we try to make it compelling for our dealers to want to do business with us, whilst we don't give them the high percentage margins, but the dollar value that they earn is higher than many of the other products. So once again, we look at value creation, we teach them how to value capture.
What else are you doing on the services side to strengthen your value creation and value capture?
The example of what we're doing is this store itself. All stores that we build is designed in-house. We have our own architect. We have our own interior designer. And in trying to inspire sound and vision, in trying to understand our customers' needs, we have found that there's a service that we can offer, both for our project business and for our home. We have the ability to come and design the room for you, not only in terms of looks, but also apply our expertise in understanding acoustics. So we had a customer recently whereby we designed his whole den for a home automated system, as well as ensuring that the design of the room, the acoustics of the room match the requirements. So this is one complementary service that we can offer to our customers. So we can offer them a design and build solution.
Are you able to identify any other constraints that Atlas may face, expanding in Singapore?
I believe that opportunities are still there. We have a simple policy that we try to grow our business by 15% every year. We used to grow at 20% every year, and every 5 years we double our turnover. And because of the challenges of the economic environment right now, there's still opportunities, and I believe that opportunities will come from complementary products or services, so we can add on to what we can do right now.
In addition to growing, one of the biggest challenges many SME bosses like yourself face is that there's tremendous pressure to micromanage, and it gives very little time for you as the founder, the CEO, to sort of think strategically, about the business. And how do you manage that?
Contrary, I'm not even managing in the sense that I have walked away from the daily business since 2000, in fact, beginning of this year. It came about incidentally, not because I planned it. But one of the things I've done was I've always set for myself an exit time. My original exit was supposed to be 48 this year, but we're not quite there yet. I'm essentially a salesperson. So instead of selling products today, I'm selling the company to my staff and to my customers. And I see my role change, and as a result, I have to act differently. It gives me the space to step back, think about things, review things, and I believe many SMEs are too busy doing and not spending enough time being.
Moving forward, having operations in Malaysia and Australia, what is your vision for this company? Where to from where we are now?
That's a funny question because I'm pretty contented with where we're at today. But nevertheless, there are new opportunities in Malaysia. We have embarked on the brand change as well, from the previous style to the new, and it's bringing dividend. Approach beyond Malaysia becomes a little bit difficult because we have to identify whether or not it's a sustainable advantage. It may be strengths here, but is it applicable overseas? So far, because of the culture that Singapore and Malaysia is similar, we are able to apply that. And Malaysia is growing year on year by 20%. The challenge is, how do we take this and go into other markets? So we've moved into Brunei. We started by looking for a reseller first, and we teach a reseller how to sell, and we give him the same touch points as we have here in Singapore in our wholesale. For example, how do we keep that Atlas experience outside of the stores? So when you go to some of our resellers today, we have audiovisual demonstration kits that will have the right demonstration and say the right thing to keep the customers informed without the need of a salesman helping them. Originally, our feasibility study for Australia was supposed to be 1 year, but it became 2 years because we found that the Australians were different in the way they shop, where they shop, and how they shop. So what we've done is that we've put our Australian expansion on hold, and what we've established there is now an R&D center for product development.
Tell us, for SMEs contemplating expansion overseas, internationalization, what are some of the lessons that you have learned in terms of growing the business overseas?
It all depends on whether the cause of going overseas is strategic or is incidental. Many of the stories I've heard, and even some of the case studies I've looked at, is more because they've got a friend, an opportunity, and then they went forward. And without looking at whether the strengths that they had or that we have can be replicatable in those markets. And this is one of the hardest things for SMEs to recognize, that your strengths are not necessarily your competitive advantage. And unless it's a competitive advantage, it means that you can replicate it in any of the other areas as well. One of the things we have done is that instead of growing internationally, we've begun to grow in Singapore. And many of the core competencies that we have at Atlas, we've applied it to our new businesses. For example, we've just incorporated Sovis, which is our projects division. So all the resources that Atlas has is available to Sovis. Sovis will then be able to market itself to some of the more upmarket homes, as well as hospitality, selling to hotels and service residences. And the competitive advantage that we have is the way we sell, how we treat our customers, has been translated to Sovis as well. And from there, we can expand.